ARESxGOD here, and it's time to talk about Vinland Saga, and it seems like we're getting very close to the farmland arc being over and something else starting, but everything that led up to this point has been so good, especially previous episode, the one with the nightmare and Thorfinn's choice to swear off violence, and him also in this episode having a very big goal, and also showing the irony a bit and dichotomy between him, as in Thorfinn, and Canute, which kind of takes a bit front into this episode over here, and showing both of them having very similar goals, but freedom and ambition go a bit hand in hand here, and Svein might have been right about the curse of the crown. So let's get into it and talk about it. Now, the beginning of the episode was so wholesome, so I still think Thorfinn and Einar have such a beautiful friendship over here, and I'm so happy that Thorfinn got to meet Einar, and we see how far they have come, finally cutting the last tree from all of the land they had there, and just the relief, the sigh they had there, the happiness after, I think they said it was a bit more than 3 years, and they're getting very close to buying their freedom by the next harvest, even according to Pater. But this is where it gets a bit more philosophical and existential, at least for both of them. What do they do after? What comes after? Because for Thorfinn, this is a very, very scary and unknown question. He finally decided to be reborn a bit, considering everything he has been through, everything he has sacrificed and lost. After that amazing episode last week, when he finally made the choice to swear off violence, what is next for him? He needs a new goal in life right now, even more after they're very close to achieving their freedom. And also Einar has his priorities straight. I love you, Einar, and I get it. He's worried about Arnheid and her freedom also, which I don't think is gonna be that easy. I don't see Ketil letting go of her, considering he uses her to vent both physically and mentally and emotionally there for him, and also with that big lie, that Iron Fist Ketil. But I don't know, maybe there's gonna be a way to buy her freedom also. I don't know, that's gonna be hard. But Einar, I believe in you, and I'm rooting for you. I hope you and Arnheid get together, because he's smitten. Now for Thorfinn, when Einar asked him, are you going back to Iceland? Maybe, but he's also thinking about something else, and he finally reveals what is on his mind, and asks Einar, is it possible to read the world of war and slavery? Which, yeah, it's a very lofty goal, to say the least, very big goal, want, dream. I don't know if it's possible or even get close to something like that, but at least he has something to think about right now. Before we can fully delve more into what or how exactly he wants to achieve this, we have Ketil showing up, congratulating them, him also being very satisfied with what they did, even going as far to give them a discount, saying they're free after they sow the seeds. They couldn't believe it, they were shocked. They literally had no reactions. But now that the Oscars are here also, I still think that Einar deserves an Oscar even more, especially after this one, saying, hey, be happy, Thorfinn, be happy. And he goes a bit wild there. That was such a fun moment. I love the energy that Einar has every time something good happens for him and for somebody that he cares about. But they're gonna have to wait a bit until this freedom is here, until Ketil returns, because he's also looking for Sverkel to have a message for him, tells Einar and Thorfinn to tell him that he's going to visit King Harald in, what was the yelling, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. And while he was walking off in the distance, has a proposition for them. Would you like to work for me as retainers after you're free? Which poses some interesting possibilities for the series. And for Einar and Thorfinn, I don't think they're gonna accept, but at least they're gonna give it some thought, because they could have a nice normal, peaceful life on the farm, especially after everything both of them have been through. And you can't just discard something like that instantly, especially if you're put into their position with everything that happened, which, I don't know, maybe Einar could go for it. Thorfinn, I don't know, he has some still unresolved things. I'm sure they're not gonna accept it, but at least they're gonna give it some thoughts. If they just accepted that the series just ends here and we see the other POV with Canute only, and Thorfinn is not the main character anymore, which I don't see that happening, but hey, you never know. I wouldn't want for it to happen just for the sake of the story, for the world, for everything, but kind of seems like a, I don't know, happy ending for Thorfinn and Einar in a way, but we'll see. I just think they're at least gonna give it some thought. Now after this we have somebody else taking front for the show. We see the boats and the army with King Canute going also for the same place, for Yelling, to visit King Harald. And yeah, also going back home, we finally see more of how much Canute has changed. We saw it a bit in the back, but this is his episode, I feel like that. He was the main character in this episode. Now, keep in mind what Thorfinn wants to do with his goal to rid the world of war and slavery, and him, after being a slave, losing everything, finally getting very close to that freedom and almost in his hands. Because it's like a mirror image with Canute, the opposite, with what he's doing, where he's heading, and we're gonna get to that. Now, Canute wants to see his home, reaching land there where he grew up. We have Wolf, one of the characters, showing up saying that Harald, his brother, is not well, which we know why Canute had a hand into it. Just slipped some poison under the table there, but of course he's not gonna admit that. Now, also hits Canute hard, the visit home, seeing the kids remember his time, the kids playing in there, sees a flashback with his brother playing there. In the background also the people were scheming, conniving, which of them is gonna succeed their father to the throne. But Harald always trusted his brother, he helped him, he played with him, tried to give him advice, even probably a bit better than Ragnar when Harald wanted Canute to be on his own 2 feet, and of course Ragnar always being the over-protective one. But some things also weigh very heavily on Canute here. He even sees a flashback of his father when that cloth ball the kids were playing with rolls in. He kind of imagines his father's head and starts having vision, even conversing and talking with his father there. But we're gonna get to that. Now we'll get a bit of narration, what happened after the death of King Svein. Harald got Denmark and Canute got England, and they got along pretty well, even going as far as Harald supporting Canute, sending him troops, helping him with everything he needed. But suddenly, Canute had nothing to do with it. Canute did nothing wrong. He fell ill and he had no heirs. And yes, Canute did poison him. Everybody knows that, I'm pretty sure. Now, back in the present, shows how much Canute has changed. If we just remember from the first time we met him, how shy, how introvert, how just he was a very different person from the one that we have right now. And he goes in to visit his brother on his deathbed, and probably the final words, or as much as he could talk when he wakes up, Harald says, "Denmark is yours." And another Oscar has to go to Canute here. We need 2 Oscars in this category. One a serious one for Canute and a meme joke comedy one for Einar. But Canute, that smirk he had there, yeah, I don't want it, you're gonna be fine. Yeah, he's definitely gonna be fine. He's not dying. He pretending not to want Denmark, but also at the same time has another vision or traumatic event a bit, seeing his father provoking him about the poisoning. You're actually visiting your brother after you killed him, and you're pretending you don't want it. In Svein own word, saying ambition has rule over you, and being a king has taken over you over here, and the crown's curse. Remember Svein, what he said back in season 1, you will suffer twice as much as me now that you have 2 countries that you rule over. And Svein kept tormenting him quite a lot, but we see the motivation and how serious Canute is about this, willing to do anything and everything for his goal to unite 2 nations. I think that 2 kings wouldn't be a good thing for this, which he has a point. If you just take a step back, logically it's not good to have 2 kings. They would fight over everything, but at the same time, how much Harald cared about his brother, helped him even with the flashback from the childhood, even after they were grown up, even after their father's death, and Canute still killed him. So I feel like Canute is kind of turning into this calculating, cold tyrant, honestly, from what we're having. Now, he has this idealistic goal. He wants this utopia, as he put it, also kind of similar with Thorfinn's goal over there, but both of them are going about it very, very differently now. And at the same time, we have Thorfinn heading towards his freedom, being a slave, and then we have Canute heading towards being a slave to the crown after he has had so much freedom. And Svein was right if you look at it like that. And even the way he was talking there, just I feel like he's just in his own mind would be an understatement, saying he can only confide in Svein and I don't hate you anymore, let's be friends. He's only confident being this delusion, hallucination that he has of his father that's always tormenting him. And we even see a bit more of the flashback with them as kids, when Svein asked Harald to join for the war council, and Harald wanted nothing but the best for his brother, saying grow stronger than us, Canute, as in Harald and Svein. And the way it ended the episode with him just saying this is nothing, so he's kind of dead inside, honestly. And I know he's very capable, cold, calculating, but there's barely any emotion left in Canute, or at least that's the feeling I get. And Svein was right. Now he's slowly heading for that curse of the crown, to be a slave to it. And on the opposite side, you have Thorfinn heading for freedom. So this was done very beautifully, seeing the dichotomy, the difference, the parallels between them, the differences between Thorfinn and Canute. And yeah, an amazing episode. Again, I'm very curious what's going to happen next. And seems we're heading towards the end of the farmland arc over here, which is gonna be very interesting, especially now that Kettle is also going to the same place. Some pretty interesting things are bound to happen, and I'm very curious what Thorfinn, or how he's gonna go about with this lofty goal that he has. So as always, let me know what you guys thought about the episode. What do you think about Canute? What do you think about Thorfinn and everything they're going through, everything that has happened? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, helps me quite a lot, would help the channel grow quite a bit more, and I would love to have some more conversation from you guys down in the comments below. And make sure to check out the podcast, because anime episodes every Wednesday. So I'll see you again on the next one. Keep enjoying Vinland Saga. Bye bye.